Because if you show her that you are a talker prior to, and you change on her, you're going to have a problem.
You're going to go to divorce court.
Absolutely. You're going to get kicked to the curb because women are talkers.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And one of the things, a male friend of mine was telling me, because I have some males that I mentor too, but anyway, a male friend of mine was telling me that when he got married, his wife no longer wanted to talk. I said, that's unusual for a woman.
Oh, yeah, we're always got something to say.
Absolutely. But apparently, they started going to school and doing different things, and, you know, they didn't really have time to dialogue. Well, this particular male is a talker, which is rare for men. And so he was always on the phone. Yeah, he's always on the phone. He liked to dialogue. He liked to talk. And so that became an issue in their relationship, you see. So, so I tell men all the time, and I tell women too, if you marry a man who's a talker, then you have to be a talker. You can't change after the relationship, and then vice versa, of course. Likewise, with a woman who marries a man who's not a talker,
right?
You know, or a man who marries a woman who's not a talker. You have to maintain that. Whatever, I always say this. Whatever you did to get him or her, you're going to have to do that to keep him.
You're going to have to do, exactly, because it's really, really rough out there in relationships.
It can be.
It's very hard, I mean, the way things are going on.
Relationships is work.
A lot of work to make it work.
Work.
But you just can't slide in when you say, I do, as you said, and just sit down on a couch, pick up a paper, is dinner ready yet, honey? That's back in years and years and years ago. You've got to keep doing it. You give your girlfriend, when you're dating, a foot rub, give her a foot rub after you marry her.
Absolutely.
Spend time.
Absolutely.
And here's another big issue, and I don't want to be condescending, but don't you think your whole life changes when you bring a child into the world?
Oh, absolutely.
Your marriage can either go down or it can go up.
Absolutely.
But it's never the same.
Because after you get married, your husband and your kids, they're first, before your job, your career, et cetera, et cetera. And this is another mistake that a lot of us women, since we're talking about women today, women and men, but and men do it too, but this is another mistake that we make. We put our careers in front of our children. And that's why before you have children, you have to sit down with your mate and discuss it and make sure that you're ready, because it is a huge sacrifice.
It is.
It's a huge sacrifice. I remember when when Marissa was little, and I was, you know, just taking an assessment of my life one time, and I just realized, I said, you know what? And I was very, very successful, and I said, my daughter has to be first.
Exactly.
She has to be. She has to be first.
I agree with
that. So I made some changes in my life at that time and put my kids first, and that's the way it has to be. Especially if you get divorced, because I ended up getting no divorce anyway.
So did I, and it's very difficult on children, because daddy gets a new girlfriend, mom can get a new man, but they can't get their father back.
That's right, absolutely.
And that's
and especially when the man stopped paying child support. So
child support, yes. Let's go back to a moment to Sandra Bullock.
Wow.
Think about her in the Blind Side movie, and she's married to that, I don't want to call him an idiot, but he's all tattooed freak. Let's call you tattoo freak. Look how he treated her.
Absolutely.
While she's making the movie, he's out sowing some wild oats.
Wow, absolutely.
And she has everything, everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But she doesn't have him.
But see, this is what I say to women all the time, and I say this to men too. You know, when I remember I was in a relationship, and I told my ex-boyfriend, I said, let me tell you something. I said, I don't want you to marry me for what I have, what I don't have, who I am not. I want you to marry me because you love me.
And the person that you are.
This is who I am.
Yeah.
And you have to think about, okay, what is it about Mary that I'm willing to live with for the rest of my life? And what is it about Mary that I'm not willing to live with for the rest of my life? You have to weigh that and decide whether I am marriage material for you. And just because I'm not marriage material for you, it doesn't mean I'm not marriage material for someone else. And this is where a lot of time women and men get into these situations, because self-esteem is vitally important.
Self-worth is a killer if you don't have it.
Absolutely.
You've got to have that.
Absolutely. Just because a man or woman call you a dog, or say you're no good,
a whore,
or a whore, or whatever these verbs they want to use to describe you, adjectives they want to use to describe you, you have to know who you are.
Yeah,
you know
you've got to figure out, because you're not that. A man can bring you down so low that you could crawl under the snake and not even touch his belly.
Absolutely.
That's
But it goes back to...
Yeah, you can demean a man so bad until he's just broken.
Absolutely.
He's broken and bent.
And then he's no good for any other woman thereafter.
No, because he's looking, if he does think he's found Miss Right for the second time, she can turn right back into the bitch that the other one was. You know, and he will take it because he wants someone.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't be needy. Don't be needy.
Absolutely.
You know, ask for what you want. Know what you want to do.
Yeah.
And try it.
And you know what? And I don't mean this in a negative fashion, but demand it.
Yeah, you should demand it. Everyone
you
should have
demand it.
Yeah.
And if he's not or she's not going to treat you that way, then you have to decide right then and there, okay, am I willing to live this way?
Right.
Or am I going to move on?
Like I told you, our brain only sees what our heart wants to feel.
Absolutely.
And we were talking to you, a woman does not need a man for sex. There's lots of toys out there. We were talking about some sex toys, okay? Dildos, whatever they are, you know. But you don't have to run to just anybody. There's HIV out there.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's a killer.
Absolutely.
You can get AIDS, but you can get full-blown AIDS.
Absolutely.
There's nobody worth a roll in the sheets to get HIV.
No. And the fact that a lot of people have it today and they're not telling you.
Exactly.
And a lot of them have it and they don't know it.
Because they don't want to know.
Because it doesn't show up for years.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. Would you have sex with a man without a condom?
Absolutely not.
I would not myself.
Absolutely
if I chose to
not.
go that route, he better wear 10.
Absolutely not.
Because my life is more important to me than it is a roll in the hay. Like you said, we've got sex toys out there.
Absolutely not. Wouldn't do it.
No.
I don't advise it.
I think it's dangerous. You're playing with a high.
It's
high
a Russian roulette.
It's a Russian
roulette. Exactly
roulette.
what it is.
You don't know when you click if the bullet's going to take you or not.
Absolutely.
And there are men out there though who have it because I've worked with HIV, and they've said somebody gave it to me and didn't tell me, so I'm going to give it to everybody I can.
Yeah.
That is so mean and so
insensitive.
That person is a killer. That is a
Right.
killer right there. If you put a gun to your head and killed you.
Absolutely.
This has been very invigorating, hasn't it? I hope the women and the men enjoyed this show. Okay, before you, let's just go back when you first meet a guy or a gentleman, let's call him a gentleman, okay? And if he starts making passes too fast, what do you think?
Well, for me, I'll speak. You know what? I'll speak candidly for me.
Okay.
That's a red flag right away. Right away. That's a red flag right away. Usually they're not. I'm not with them very long. It's like I usually say, you know what? This is not working out. This is not for me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about me since we're talking about sex and everything. For me, I'm celibate. That's the road I've chose.
Yes.
I've chosen that road because a 5-minute orgasm, rolling the hay, it's not worth it.
Right.
You know, for me,
but
if you want to go that way, that's, you know, you do your own thing.
You go for a blood test.
But for me, I've decided to live celibate.
Yeah.
Because I don't want, number one, I don't want any type of diseases, you know, anyway.
Yeah, but suppose you decide to get married again, would you have your husband-to-be have a blood test?
Absolutely.
And you have the same thing?
Absolutely.
Because that is your life.
I'll tell you what, when I decide to get married again, because of the society we live in today, not only would he have to get a blood test, but I want to see his whole life. I want to talk to his mother and his father if they're living. I want to talk to previous girlfriends. I mean,
So right now we've got to stop talking because our time is up. I had a lot more juicy things I wanted to say too. But this has been so much dang fun. I've really enjoyed it. I'd like to get a guy to come in here and do it with us. Not sex, the show.
Yes.
Thank you, Mary Davison, for coming here today. And I want to thank my guests until next time.